Right, brother. Appreciate your time so much, man. You know, I can't big you up too much because you're a ex-Londoner now living in France. You know,
That's
it's
right.
like a lose-lose. You know, the northerner in me is like cringing at this, but nah, mate, I fucking
What's worse, being an ex-Londoner or living in France? What's worse?
London, hands down, hands
London's the
down.
best city in the world.
Fuck no, mate. You're missing out Manchester. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
maybe parts of Rio, maybe parts of Sydney. Barcelona's not too bad. There are quite a few good cities actually.
Oh, you man, can't stand it, mate. It's a different country.
Manchester, Manchester.
Greatest
I don't think
culture.
anyone lives in. I don't think anyone lives in Manchester, do they? They just drive there to go and watch a soccer match, then a football match, then they fuck off back to London.
It's because to live there, you got to wear a fucking stab vest. We
Yeah.
get we get a little handsy up there. It gets a little close quarters. But mate,
No, that's a few beers. So I have to apologize first off,
oh,
because
you don't have to do
I
that.
stood you up like an ex-girlfriend a couple of times, didn't I? My apologies for that, mate. I
We had a
literally
first date.
I literally just got the wrong day. I literally just got the wrong frigging day. And then the second one, I just got overrun with shit. And then and then I realized you'd sent me a link, and I'm going, why is he sending me a link? I go, oh my God, I've missed it. It's like, oh shit. So
Hey,
yeah.
don't worry about it. Time zones are a bitch, man. Like I've been over here, New Zealand for like coming up to 4 years, and with the clocks changing, it still fucks me.
So
You know,
where are you coaching now? Where you?
I'm in Auckland. I'm in the CBD of Auckland, so biggest city in North Island.
Yeah,
I was in Christchurch for 3 years, dotting around there.
right.
Before that, I was in London. Before that, I was in Southampton. Before that, I was in Manchester. I've
Hence
done,
the nomad coach.
yeah, just kind of fuck around, like basically I stay in a place to piss people off just enough, and then I leave before it gets handsy.
Before they decide to try and hang you from the tree, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Get
yeah.
out,
We
jump
we
on the
don't want to
horse
see that guy, that northerner, come out of me again. So it's like,
into
okay,
the
next one.
into the sunset, right off
Yeah,
into the sunset.
I
Yeah.
just think there's so much to learn from so many different people, man, and different cultures out there. And I think culture is such a beautiful thing, like the nuances of demographics that walk through the door, right? Like Paris is a fucking great example. There's anybody from everywhere, is in that city, same as London, same as bloody New York. These big cities are, I think, beautiful places to coach because you see such a variety of folk walk through the door and you're like, oh, shit, like I can't just like curse you out to get you to do the work
Yeah,
anymore.
yeah.
That
You
works
got
with
to
the
become,
Manx,
yeah, you
you
got to
know that.
become very good with the tactile cues, the visual cues. Yeah, you got it. Yeah, yeah. You can coach uh, French, Brits, Japanese, Koreans, all in the same session,
Mm.
in big cities, right? It's really interesting. But I mean, you're in New Zealand. That's one of, I actually, it's probably one of my two favorite countries. It may actually be my favorite country. I was in Wellington there last year, and the people are just so nice. And then the environment is amazing. You like the outdoors, you like sports. New Zealand is, you know, absolutely stunning. Yeah, good choice, mate. Good choice. Really good people down in New Zealand. So
Yeah, you got to
yeah.
get down to that South Island, man. Like it is one beautiful.
I didn't do South Island. I've only done the North so far, but I'll be coming back out in January probably. South Island, I've been told, is absolutely stunning. Yeah, yeah.
Did you got to get down
Obviously,
there,
New
man?
Zealanders at the moment can't play rugby for shit. They just lost against France in the World
Which is
Cup.
brilliant. I have never said "Vive la France" so many times in my life.
Oh, really? You must have been lynched. You must have been
Nah,
lynched.
come on, mate.
I
Like,
was. We ran the World Cup. We do a giant screen and project the first match of the World Cup. It's France, right? So,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
we tell our members, oh, come on in Friday night. 9 p.m. Our time was because someone's starting in at 8:30. And you got beers, you got like tables full of like Pringles and shit and all this kind of stuff. And then and they're all there with their makeup on, the bleu blanc rouge, and all this kind of stuff. And I walk in with my son, and we've got all black jerseys on, just the two
Oh,
of us. And and his mates from the teens class go, mais qu'est-ce que tu fais? What are you doing? Traître, you're a traitor. Yeah, he gets ready to hack at them. There's like, so yeah, we were adopted New Zealanders for one evening there, just to piss off the
amazing.
friend.
You still got that London streak still in you. I love it, man.
Oh yeah, listen, I've been here for a very long time in Europe. Well, I say Europe because between France, Spain, and Italy, but um, yeah, I'm English, man. That's it.
Yeah,
You know,
man. That's where the two
half.
fingers start coming out, right?
Yeah, that's right. Instead of the one. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And when I get angry and I start to swear, it's all F bombs and C bombs and and the combination of the F and the C. And so you're with a French person, you want to punch him or something, and instead of like, oh now, like, oh you fucking yeah. It's like, you're having a conversation in French, or so this guy he gets Tourette's in English. Like, what's going on? Yeah, okay. You can press record now, mate. No, okay.
Mate, you can fucking say whatever you want on this thing. You know, this is always going to be real. But I got not a burning question, but one I wanted to navigate the conversation to is building a culture, right? It goes back to, building a why and having a why and all that type of shit. If you want business, you want anything, if you want to be an athlete, you need to know why you're doing it. Is it extrinsic? Is it intrinsic? Figure out the why. And I think when you start talking about affiliates and gyms, right? If you got the head owner, the owner, right? You might be steering the ship, but everybody else is rowing the bloody boat. So how do you build a culture?
I think first thing is like you need to understand that a box is a business, right? Whether you like it or not, you're giving a service in exchange for money, right? Mm-hmm. Even if you're giving a service in exchange for a service, it's a business basically, right? And all businesses are done by people for people. And there's nothing in society that affects a human being, I believe, more than what we do in a CrossFit box. Our job is basically essentially building better human beings, right? So this is a people industry. CrossFit is a people industry. It's a people thing. It's a person thing. So it doesn't matter if you're paying staff as employees or part, you should be treating them as if they're volunteers, which means you should always, because you may pay them for their presence, but for their heart and soul to come into the box, that you can't buy with money. If you want to build a culture, you've got to capture your coach's heart and soul. As soon as you don't have it, you can feed it. As soon as they're like 1 foot out, that they're physically there coaching, but you can sense the heart and soul isn't there. So I think the key is, how can you capture the heart and soul of your team? How can you make them feel part of a story, something that's, so the mission needs to be something that's more important than you, me, and any individual, and you come together and you're doing something that's changing fundamentally a lot of people's lives. That gives meaning to our existence, right? I think fundamentally, you and I were looking for meaning to our existence. It's like, why the fuck am I here?
Indeed.
When I'm dead, what will have been the purpose of my existence? It can't just be to eat and shit and sleep. That there's got to be something more than that. And yes, you can say reproduction, having children, all this kind of stuff, but professionally, we dedicate so much time. There's got to be more than just putting food on the table. There has to be a reason for it. And I think CrossFit provides that. I think a box provides that. If you can capture that, if you can put it on paper, if you can talk it, live it, and breathe it on a daily basis, you're going to start developing a culture. And what sort of culture do you want, right? I like family business. My ex-wife is in the business. My son is always in the box. My best friends in France are part of the team. There's nobody in my team that I wouldn't want to invite to my house for the weekend. I think that's important. And so I filter anyone coming in. So when you build your culture, you need to protect it as well, right? You need to understand that as you grow, you're going to grow your team. But one bad person coming in can have such an adverse effect on your culture. You have to be very protective of it. You've got to be the guardian of that culture, and then your head coach and your head of reception have become the guardian of that culture as well. So I'm very protective of my team. And I'm ruthless if I think someone is adversely affecting the culture. I think you've got to know what you want as an atmosphere for work. I want my team to train together. I want my team to want feedback. I want my head coaches to be so dedicated to growing the coaches, that sometimes they forget the time. I want my head coach to be late to a meeting with me because he's giving feedback to a coach. That's the sort of environment I want. I want my coaches to say, shit, this isn't an easy place to work. There are easier boxes to work, right? And there are places where I could have way more time to work out, but this is the best place for me to develop a true profession and to really earn the living for the rest of my life through coaching CrossFit. That's the sort of culture I want. And a culture where we know everybody's name, a culture where we're turned towards other people, where another person and other people are just systematically more important than ourselves. So it's a culture where you have to look after yourself. You have to feed yourself. You've got to sharpen your own blade because you need to be turned towards others. As soon as you walk in the door, you have to be turned towards other people. A leader has to be turned towards their team. It's servant leadership. The team have to be turned towards members. And then if you're doing that, the members are turning towards each other, and you've created this culture of so I don't know if that answers your question or goes away to answer your question. Sorry, a bit of a monologue on that one, but you asked a seriously deep question for the first one, mate.
Hey, this is
have you read the book Culture Code?
I have not.
I'd recommend that. I'd recommend the first half. The second half kind of repeats the first half. So, one of those books where they've written it in like 350 pages, they could have written it in 150. But Culture Code, and I think it's Daniel Cohen. I think is the it's interesting. That's a good read if you like culture and stuff.
Yeah, I'm fascinated by it because I think a lot of the time, when we open these things, right, and you got to put an asterisk to everything that I say because I've never owned a gym. Right. It's just like yeah, I've coached a lot of kids. Right. And I was like, oh, well, you say parenting, and they're like, yeah, but you don't have a kid. He's like, well, you're also true. Okay. That's correct. Right. So I don't own a gym. But I think a lot of people fall into the trap of the gym is me and I am the gym. I was like, no. The gym is a business and it's a place to service more people. You have more touch points. You can then see more people. Right. If we load your calendar and you see, I don't know, 10 people every hour. How many hours a day are you going to work? Not that many, right? 6, 7 days a week? Probably not. Let's go 5. Yeah. The number of people that you're going to hit is going to be a big number, but in the grand scheme of things, it's going to be very, very small. Okay, cool. If we can then empower and then get this vision and build a culture and then blah, 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 build a ship and we can steer it off into the fucking sunset. Oh, look at that. We're now helping the entire community that we're within rather than just the small demographic of people that can afford my gym membership
and employing people growing youngsters, developing the next generation, giving yourself time to breathe, enabling yourself to go on a family holiday and leave your gym and it's still being looked after the way you want it to be. You can't have the quality of life you want by being a one-man band ego trip. That's short-lived. It's a really tough gig unless you're happy with just like 50 members and you're teaching 3 classes a day, and if that, I'm not saying that's wrong. I'm saying if that financial model works for you and enables you to live the life that you want and look after your loved ones as you want, then that's great. But if you're going to need more than that, you're going to need people on your side. You're going to need to develop people. And how can you get them to do things the way you want and how you want it unless you can describe it? And that's where you come back to your mission, right? Saying, what's your mission? What do you want to accomplish through this vehicle? Your box is a vehicle to accomplish things. What do you want to accomplish with it? What the vision is like you draw a blank canvas, right? That's your vision, isn't it? What does the sky look like? What do the mountains look like? What's the path running up the mountains? Where are the stones? Where are the rocks? All that kind of stuff. That's your vision. Then you can add your values to it. Those are the rules of engagement as you're walking this path towards your accomplishing your mission. Put all those down, and then they'll modify and stuff. But unless you can explain it and show it to someone, how can they reproduce it, right? So I agree with you. If you want to develop culture, you've got to be thinking of those things. And you can call them a mission, you can call them a vision, you can call them a concept, whatever it is you want. You stick a catchphrase in, whatever. But I agree with you, mate. If someone says I'm the box and the box is me, what happens when you're sick? What happens when a family member's ill? What happens when you have to travel back to the UK because your dad's in hospital and you need to be there for 3 weeks? What happens in the summer when you've got a kid and your kid's off and he wants to go camping for 5 days? What do? You close the box? How are you gonna develop that? You know, if you're not giving the service, you're in the service industry. You said it right. You're here to serve others, and you can only do so much on your own. I agree with you. You know, you only got so many hours in a day. Yeah, you hit the nail on the head, mate. So for someone who's never been a parent, you're pretty good at parenting.
Behave yourself. Usually you just tell them to stop being a cunt. And if they do it again, you slap them. I'm joking. Don't fucking do that. No, coached a lot of kids in different demographics as well. Coached kids in Winchester, mate. That was eye opening. From being I was an assistant PE teacher in an inner city school in Manchester, right? Literally kids being stabbed on the AstroTurf. And you're like, okay, shit, like there's blood pissing everywhere. I've had a kid got bowled out in cricket. He just slowly, nonchalant, walks up to the bowler with his bat, just dragging around. I turn around, see where the other kids are. I look back, the bowler's on the floor, his head's caved in, and this lad smashed him with the cricket bat. And I'm like, what the fuck? I've had that.
Yeah.
And then we go to Winchester where they all rock up in Rolls Royces. And you're like, what the fuck? Anywhere and everywhere, right? And that's why I love this thing, this medium of fitness, right? We use
It's a leveler.
It's a leveler, mate. And we teach life through the medium of fitness. That's the way I like to bring it all down to. You know, it's like, well, you know, a snatch, your heart rate being up, swimming in the pool, fucking air squat, burpee, it's all the same shit. Whether I do it, you do it, someone who's like 8 foot tall, it really doesn't matter, right? And it really does. Here's a line. We're all going to stand on this line. And I think it's beautiful, mate. I think a question that I keep asking a lot of members recently. I usually end up filtering it on because it starts from asking myself, and then once I've got some sort of an idea, I ask the members, and then once I sort of hear a few answers, and then I start asking people on this weird thing where I start to strangers on the internet. What are you trying to find?
Meaning. Trying to find a meaning. Yeah.
To what? Life?
Yep. To my existence, I think for many years I wanted my dad to be proud of me. And then and now my son is he's in his teens, and I desperately want him to be proud of his dad, and whatever it is we can accomplish and what we can do and leave behind us. I think that's fundamentally it. Meaning, money comes and goes. Your reputation doesn't, and I would like for when I'm gone, when I'm dead, my son to, my dad was a good man. My dad did some good things. He looked after other people. He was fair. He was tough but fair. It's like what will your kids say about you, or the people you love say about you when you're gone? Like, oh yeah, lazy cunt, spend his day on the couch. Or yeah, he couldn't make a decision for love nor money. Or God, what a dishonest prick. Always lying. Or what are they going to say about you? When you're gone. That's a huge driver. Yeah, I think looking to give back as well. I've been very lucky. I'm 50 now, and I've been in the fitness industry for shit. Started at 16 when I was still at school, and then did my RSAs when I was at university and all this kind of stuff. So I've been in the fitness industry for good 30 odd years now. And I've been very lucky to meet some amazing coaches, amazing people, amazing managers, amazing leaders. I worked for a UK company for a while, a long time. It was a multinational global gym called Fitness First. It still exists in the UK and in Australia and different parts. And I was fortunate to be with them when they had amazing leaders. I don't know what they're like now. I have no idea, right? What they're like as an employer or company or something. But when I was there nearly 15 years ago, they really looked after me. They had amazing internal trainings, and I learned a lot. I made a lot of mistakes with them. I made a lot of mistakes with their money, which is always good before you go and invest your own, right? and I had a lot of people help me along the way to get to where I am now with the boxes and you know, my different ventures and you know, adventures. And I'm in a point in life where I'm lucky enough to be able to give back. You know, I don't need money. I don't need recognition. I don't need my ego boosting. I'm fine. You know, I'm confident enough. I understand my weaknesses, my strengths. I found myself and lost myself enough. I don't need all that. So I think the best way I can feel good about myself is giving back to other people. And CrossFit is an amazing way to do that. You know, in the box, you can see fundamentally change people's lives. I mean, just like, you don't even have to have that conversation with them. You can see it, you know, the way they walk in after a year, 2 years, 3 years, you know, you look at their photo on the day they started and you look at them now, and sometimes your members will look at you with stars in their eyes because they know, you know, that if you hadn't been there and you hadn't brought CrossFit to that part of town and you hadn't been able to convince them and you hadn't been able to integrate them into your community and you hadn't been able to help them integrate CrossFit into their lives, that they wouldn't be as good a person today as they are. They wouldn't be as good at their job or in their relationships and all this kind of stuff. And I think that is, if you can give that back to people, that's pretty fucking amazing.
Fuck yeah, man. As you were talking, it reminded me of a quote, right? If I am to die, let it be for a reason. For having nothing to live for is a cruel and evil joke.
Oof. Who wrote that?
I did.
Really?
Yeah, man.
That's pretty profound, mate. You poet, you.
Well,
Okay?
well,
You poet. I saw you Instagram. I did my due diligence. I saw you.
pack it in. Your nose out my ass. I got 3 questions, man.
Man, when you've got to get laid a lot with that
Why?
sort of with that sort of shit going on. I can imagine you taking me for a pizza and a glass of wine, and you looking over, and all of a sudden you look off into the horizon, and if I am to die, let it be for a reason. I can see you do that. It's like, oh man.
Trust me, mate. Like, poetry doesn't get you pussy. That's what I tell my younger self. I'd be like, mate, like this just doesn't work. Like, start being able to tell jokes that doesn't end up with somebody dying, some like
Well, at
twisted
least it's
evil
not.
shit happening.
Let's say it's not the only way. It's
It's
not the
not the
only way.
only way. No. And
But I imagine it must help you. It must help you find your future wife.
yeah,
Or
she's
husband.
a
I don't know you well enough, mate. You know, it might help you find your future husband as well.
she's a good one. Yeah, she'll listen to it, put it that way, and be like, "Good job, honey." Oh, thanks, babe. Appreciate it. I'm just gonna cry
Is
into
she a
my
New Zealander?
yeah,
Is she a New
man.
Zealander? Yeah.
Canadian though.
Canadian.
Yeah,
Did you meet her in New Zealand?
yeah. Trying to collect all those passports, man. You know what I mean? It's like Pokemon.
The Canadian passport's a pretty good one to have, man.
It's
That's, you know, when I said 2 countries, right? My 2 favorite countries, New Zealand and Canada.
Right, there we go. I can get you in both now. I'm kind of the middleman.
If you like nature, man, those are amazing places, aren't they?
That's how I write, man. I drop off, and I changed this this thing's name, this podcast name to nomadic podcast for a lot of reasons. Life's a journey and all that cliche shit. But I usually do, a nomadic trip. I usually just disappear. I delete everything from my phone, and I go that way, and until I've had enough, and then I change direction, and then I'm like, you know what, I feel good now, and come back. And it's a bit scary for the people around me. The people that are very close to me will know where I'm at, and the people that aren't very close to me think I've died. And then I just literally just disappear and then reappear again, maybe 2 weeks later, maybe it's a few months.
International man of mystery. There you go. Mike Myers was it $1 million international man of
End up in fucking Azerbaijan or something.
I was out in Tashkent in Uzbekistan. Never thought I'd go out there. I was like, what am I going to do out there? I went out to train some people on leadership stuff, and
wow.
And I thought I didn't know there was like a big fitness movement out there, and like 30 people in this leadership training, and mate, I want to go back. The nicest people you've ever met, and such a mix of cultures around there. You've got like the Persian influence coming in from Iran. You've got the Turkish influence. You've got the Mongolian influence. And all like the faces, the cheekbones, the eyes, like, oh my God, these people are strikingly, amazingly beautiful. Super kind. I honestly, if you want to drop off the grid,
Uzbekistan.
Uzbekistan, Kazakhstan, around there, man. You'd have, and there's some boxes out there. You can go and coach, man.
I'm in.
You
I'm in.
go
I'll
and
do it for
coach.
free. I'm in. I
Good, good,
literally,
good.
there was a time where I pursued this stuff to get as much qualifications as I could. So I could literally just rock up to a gym and be like, hey, um, could I coach? You know, don't have to pay me. I just need a place to sleep.
Listen,
And
you
they'll be
got your
like,
level 3. You could probably get a job in most boxes, right? Where there's no need for national term or something like that, or cert or country specific cert.
it depends. It depends in it, you know. But
Well,
yeah,
if you walk into a punt, you're not going to get a job. But if you, yeah.
pay peanuts to get monkeys.
Oh, that too, right? Yeah, you got to find the box that's ready. Have you tried your level 4 yet?
No, I will be trying next year. So we're going to be heading back Northern Hemisphere side. My missus wants to give UK or Europe a go. So it's probably
Right.
going to be mid time next year. That we're going to be around your neck of the woods. If we end up in France, I'll let you know.
Oh, mate, with pleasure. Yeah. Please.
But no, I
It's
want to
important. You
really
can. I'll take you to the local lake. We can sit on a terrace overlooking the lake, and you can
recite
whisper
some
poetry.
poetry for you. Yeah.
You big romantic. You.
Oh, there you
Uh,
go. Well,
you
there's your
stop
date
people.
sorted. That's third date, man. You know what that means?
That's my first date sorted. Yeah. We're talking about that with my mom and my sister being at the house, right? Yeah.
I just go outside. I know what the French
um,
summers are like. It's bloody hot.
it's mate, it's been beautiful up until today. Today's the first bad day. It's like 12th of September. Yesterday was 34 degrees in the shade, man. It's lovely. Celsius, obviously, not Fahrenheit. Beautiful.
Yeah.
Question for you.
Yes,
So if you're coming back to Europe, you're going to do your level 4. Oh,
yes.
question. I don't know. Yeah, you'll probably be with Steaders, old Carl Steadman, on your level 4. He'll
He
probably be one of
is
the operators.
like I love that bloke.
Old Steaders?
He did both my level 1 and 2. I consider him
Oh,
a very close friend and an unbelievably strong mentor, mate. Like
he's
I would
he's a
fucking
he's a
move
dude.
move Snowden to his backyard using a fucking teaspoon for him
Yeah,
if he gave the nod. I'm there with fucking pitchfork. I'm ready to take on an army.
good stuff. Yeah, moving snow on a pitchfork, that's a tough one.
Mate, I'll do
But
it.
taking on with
Don't worry about
pitchfork's a
it.
better one. Yeah, when you see Steaders, ask him what happened to my hamstring. He fucked me over.
It's because it's
We're
made out of
doing a
rubber
hill
bands.
strip. We're in Poland in these woods, and there's a beautiful hill. It's about a 20-second run up this hill. Yeah, let's do hill sprints. Yeah, no worries. So we do the first one, walk down. So it's like a 20-second sprint, minute 20, minute half walk down. And we're going to do 10. And he has this idea of, okay, well, the first one of us goes on 3, the second one goes on 2, and the last one goes on 1. So the 3 of us. There's Arthur Zarzeski, who's seminar staff as well. And so Arthur's going on 1, Carl on 2, and I'm on 3. So basically 3, I start going like the clappers. 2, he starts going like the clappers, and I can hear him breathing down my neck, running up the, like Tom Cruise Mission Impossible, some of this. And Steaders is behind me, and I can hear him breathing, and like doing all this stuff, like come on, lad, come on, like this, like really cocky shit in my ear, like breathing down my neck. And I go and I'm like, all right, I'm going for a big step, lift my right knee, bang, my hammy goes. I like try and put my foot down. I can't because my hamstring's not connecting anymore, right? I land like I've been shot, and I roll over holding my leg. He doesn't stop. He jumps over me and runs to the top of the hill. Right? Arthur, who was like going on the 1, so he's literally just behind Carl. He stops, looks after me, makes sure that I didn't like stab myself with a tree branch sticking into my ribs or something. Stedman just runs up, walks back down. All right, lad. Oh, I thought you tripped. You all right? It's like, so yeah, that's the story about Stedman. He's a good cunt, isn't he?
Oh, he's unbelievable, mate. He's worth his weight in gold. But we can't say too much. He'll get his big head up in the Highlands of Scotland.
Well, I don't know that he has Wi-Fi up there, so we're safe. You probably can't even see your
I'll
podcast.
have to send a pigeon.
Yeah, he's a cheap bugger, so he probably not hasn't paid the bill.
Cheap date as well.
Yeah, a couple of beers and
It's
he's
over,
good to
mate.
go.
Yeah,
Yeah,
brother.
yeah. And they're a lovely family, the Stedman family. Old Rach, his missus, and then two kids are